This evening, Miss World Guyana has a plan to fight the nation's diabetes issue. The National Industrial and Commercial Investments Limited is bankrupt, but the Ministry of Finance seems unbothered. Guyana Rice Development Board develops new variety of rice. President Granger reshuffles his ministers yet again. In the region, in St. Lucia, Prime Minister responds to Venezuela crisis. And internationally, we share stories from the partition of India and Pakistan.
From Safe TV headquarters in South Bramford Gardens, this is Safe TV Headline News with George Gonzalez.
Headline News is now being streamed live on our YouTube channel, as well as our website, ch2headlinenews.com. Join us. The debate continues as to the financial state of the economy, one of the entities that the past government pointed to as a way of propping up the country's growth and solvency was NISL. However, what a difference 2 years can make. Today, the NISL is bankrupt, and this government seems the least bit bothered. Wendell Jeffrey took a peep of the books and filed this report.
George, the NISL is back in the news. The National Industrial and Commercial Investments Limited was a tool used by the last administration to fund what the then opposition called many shady deals. The NISL and its manager, Winston Brassington, were the brunt of many claims of corruption and shady investments. The main objectives of the company were acquiring and managing the government shares and stocks, and then investing those funds and sending the original amounts into the consolidated fund. During the PPP reign, it had hundreds of millions of dollars in its coffers. However, at a recent press conference, the Minister of Finance, Winston Jordan, all but admitted that the entity is now bankrupt.
Well, why is NISL bankrupt? Well, first of all, let's go back to the purpose of NISL.
That was Minister Jordan responding to a question from a media personnel. He went on to suggest that the NISL became too bloated and was used by the last administration to extend its reach above and beyond the original mandate and scope.
Why NISL was originally set up. I'll leave that for you a bit of a homework, and you'll find out why NISL was originally set up. But essentially, NISL was established to manage government's investments, essentially. And when it was first established, it had a very tiny staff.
Listen again as the minister explains the original purpose for the NISL.
And essentially what used to happen is that the dividends, right, from the various places, whether it be DDL, Pegasus, Guy Oil, and all the different places, will go to NISL. And they will invest the dividends in treasury bills, I believe it was, and they will cream the interest off for running their operations. And then they will send the dividends to the consolidated fund.
However, by the time the current coalition took over, the NISL was loaning and borrowing funds. It had morphed into a parallel consolidated fund and was often seen as a penny bank for the investment proposals that the PPP wanted to fund, but for which they could not get support of Parliament. Most of the monies that the NISL had, which would have amounted to billions of dollars, have since been expended. So much so that today, Minister Jordan does not defend the balance, but rather rationalizes the reason for the bankruptcy.
Well, why is NISL bankrupt? Well, first of all, let's go back to the purpose of NISL.
For Channel 2 Headline News, I am Wendell Jeffrey.
Thanks, Wendell. Guyana is currently growing a new variety of rice. Our reporter Esther Sobers will tell us more about this fascinating development.
Guyana can expect a new rice variety from the Guyana Rice Development Board, which is expected to bring better yield of rice across the country. GRDB General Manager Alison Peters noted that the seed paddy cultivation will take some time for the rice development and didn't state a particular time frame, but is hopeful it will be developed soon.
There is a variety that the plant breeder is working on. We don't want to show our hands before it's ready because seed paddy developing a new variety takes several seasons. It's at a stage where we're cultivating it in farmers' fields and we're looking at how it's behaving in those fields. We can't tell you next season, we can't tell you the season after, but it's soon.
The new variety of rice is likely to eliminate the use of smuggled brands of rice paddy from other countries, as it promises greater yields, less risk of paddy bugs and other crop diseases. I'm Esther Sobers reporting for Channel 2 Headline News.
Thanks, Esther. Searches were carried out early Tuesday morning at the Georgetown prison on Camp Street, where joint services uncovered a small portion of cannabis, 3 cell phones along with 3 Digicel SIM cards, 4 lighters, 20 improvised weapons, among other items. In the past weeks, a driver of a Sevon's waste management truck was found guilty of smuggling illegal items into the New Amsterdam prison. Coming up on Headline News after the break, Miss World Guyana 2017 embarks on a crusade against diabetes, and Minister of Finance gives his mid-year report.
Mining Week 2017 ends on a high note with Pork Knocker Day on August 26 at the Bayrock Ground, Wismar, Linden from 9 hours under the theme Mining Clean, Living Green. Enjoy the competitions and get the experience while battling, shoveling, jigging, Tacuba crossing, Warishi race and more. We will meet you at the Bayrock Ground in Wismar, Linden, a gateway to the interior, on Saturday, August 26 from 9 hours for an educational and fun-filled Pork Knocker Day 2017 and the chance to win a diamond. It's Mining Week 2017, August 20th to 27th under the theme Mining Clean, Living Green.
John Lewis Styles proudly introduces Everest Bags, a complete and affordable line especially suited for back to school. Lunch bags from $3,500, backpacks from $4,500, pulley backpacks from $10,995. Also available are messenger bags, computer bags, waist pouches, duffel bags, gym bags, and even camping bags, all for the same price or less than buying online. And it's already here on Waterloo Street. John Lewis Styles, simply different.
As a parent who works at home with my business located right here, I use Blaze high-speed internet. At home, my daughter enjoys it for her educational learning apps, and I work at home as well, so the service is efficient for my business. Parents bring their children, and while the children are enjoying ice cream, the parents also relax and enjoy their free Wi-Fi services.
This place is really hot. What's wrong with your AC?
It's not working.
Well, we wouldn't be able to continue this meeting anymore because this place is extremely hot.
Wait, please don't go.
Here's a company you can call to get your AC fixed. Action Cool.
Honey, what's dinner? I had a hard day.
I'm sorry you had a hard day, but guess what, babes? I didn't cook today because the stove is not working.
Having trouble at home or at the office? Then call the professionals at Action Cool. Our fully trained technical team have the skills and experience in repairs of all air-conditioned units, refrigerators, gas stoves, washing machines, and a whole lot more. For further information, visit us at 86 Hill and Princess Street, Mandela Avenue, Georgetown, or call us on telephone number 225-7867.
Caution buy food from an unsafe environment. The results could be tummy ache, vomiting, diarrhea, and sometimes hospitalization. Instead, stop, look around, ask yourself, how safe is the food you are about to buy? Is it hot? If it is hot, is it stored in a food warmer or on a stove? Is it cold and on ice? How long was it prepared? Since the night before? Early morning or less than 2 hours? This just takes a few seconds and it can save you time, money, and lots of ache. Temperature plays an important part when storing food. Food must be kept piping hot. When food is finished cooking, the hot food must be placed in a food warmer and not a box or bowl for over 2 hours. It must be protected from dust, insects, rodents, and dirt. These precautions are vital because bacteria grow by multiplying. If food is stored in the danger zone between 5 to 60 degrees Celsius, bacteria can double every 20 minutes, causing food to spoil. The correct holding temperature is below 5 degrees Celsius and higher than 60 degrees Celsius. This means keep cold food cold, place it on ice or in a freezer, and keep hot food hot. Place it in a warmer or on a stove. This way, the growth of bacteria is slowed or stopped. Children, the elderly, people who are pregnant or have a weak immune system are at a higher risk of getting food poisoning. Start practicing correct food handling and storing today. Cook, hot hold, reheat, chill. Don't buy food from an unsafe environment because you can be a victim of food poisoning.
How safe is your food? Are you sure about it?
A message from the Government Analyst Food and Drug Department.
For more info, call telephone numbers 222-8857 or 222-8859.
Welcome to Kissoon's Furniture. Find everything you need for your home and more under one roof in our newly decorated showroom. Our locally crafted furniture has been perfected over the last 60 years. From our hands to your home, we also bring to you our newly introduced lines of imported furniture and sleep center, where you can find a wide range of beds and mattresses. Kissoon's Furniture, furnishing homes for over 60 years.
The economy might be shrinking, but it's not dead. Those were the sentiments of the Minister of Finance at the recently held press conference. The minister called the press in to share with them the status of the financial health of Guyana at this mid-year period. The picture is not rosy, but at least there was some progress to report. Wendell Jeffrey listened to the minister's comments and shared this report.
George? The Minister of Finance, Winston Jordan, is claiming that the economy grew by 2.2% up to this mid-year period. He said that Guyana's economy should be regarded positively and that this marginal growth should be regarded as significant, particularly in light of the poor showing in regional economic developments. He admitted that the business sector is struggling, but according to the minister, private sector credits went up, despite what some expected and contrary to what some are reporting. He said that people are still spending.
Look, the private sector credit, as contrary to what people have indicated, had gone up at the half year. The issue is it didn't decline, right? You may say the increase might be marginal, but at least it didn't decline, which means people are still spending.
He went on to share with the press corps an obvious reality. He said that people adjust their spending based on their outlook, which means that given the current sluggishness in the national spending, it suggests that the outlook of the financial prospects in Guyana is very poor.
People adjust their spending based on their outlook, okay? Based on their outlook. I think if people become more confident that it's not a one-off growth, that the policies are trending in the right direction and so on, there might be inclined to spend even more.
He said that the health of the sugar and rice industries have a direct effect on the spending habits of the Guyanese population.
And don't forget, spending in Guyana, there must have been a direct correlation between performance of the agricultural sector, in particular rice and sugar, and spending in the economy, right? If only because of the number of people employed directly and indirectly in those two sectors.
Then touching a failed systemic policy approach towards the Guyanese agricultural sector, the minister made this lament.
Unfortunately for Guyana, is that you have a major, right? Our agricultural sector is not made up of several small or medium-sized units. It's made up of a massive player called Gaisuko and a not so massive but fairly large player called rice. And all the rest are just small units.
Minister Jordan said that Gaisuku is the largest agricultural sector and ironically, the one that is the most burdensome to the coffers of the state. He, however, reflected the established notion that the country's economy needs a kick start.
And in the interim, what we're trying to do is start the economy, as you heard me say a lot of times on this, by getting the public sector investment program going.
George, there was no vision casting or formatted policies to address the outlined economic ills. The minister did not go into how his administration plans to deliberately jumpstart the economy. However, one must remember that this was a midterm report and not an economic think tank. For Channel 2 Headline News, I am Wendell Jeffrey.
Thanks, Wendell. Miss World Guyana 2017, Veena Mukram, has started her campaign to fight diabetes in Guyana. I sat down with her to learn more about her ambitious project. This young woman is on a mission to stem the tide of a debilitating and deadly disease that affects families across the nation, diabetes. Diabetes is completely preventable and treatable, but unfortunately for many in Guyana, contracting the disease could be considered a death sentence. Miss World Guyana 2017, Veena Mukram, is determined to change that.
So my campaign is based at diabetes prevention through diet and exercise. I have decided to host a nationwide awareness campaign for over the next few months, so I'm working tremendously hard on that to bring about awareness to everyone in our country.
Diabetes is caused by the body's. The project will have an educational aspect as well as a physical one.
I will be hosting 3 health fairs in Essequibo, Demerara, and Berbice. I will be doing a diabetes care and cookbook, some public service announcements to bring awareness to persons, to diabetes itself, and last but not least, my most favorite is that through partnership with the Grove Diamond NDC, I am building a fitness park and diabetes center. So we are working really hard on that.
Mukram described the park's amenities.
What's going to be at the park is an athletic track, and then they're going to have some fitness kind of equipment in the middle, so persons who don't have the resources to go to a gym can always come to this place and get it done in the comfort of their own timer and stuff like that. So there's also the most important aspect of the park is going to be the diabetic center, which is going to be right there, but it's going to be focused on free testing and diabetes screening in general once a week, so persons should come there and get that done. Also, there's going to be education. We're going to be providing some education in some kind of way. There are going to be pamphlets on how to prevent diabetes and if you already have diabetes, how to treat it. And the person who's going to be there doing this.
More reshuffling is happening within the government. This time is Minister within the Ministry of Communities, Dawn Hastings-Williams. She'll be taking up the position of the Minister of Public Affairs within the Ministry of Presidency. This decision was disclosed by President David Granger to the media at State House. He noted that Hastings will be taking up her new position at the end of this month. Regarding her roles and responsibility, the President said she'll be there to assist him with his responsibility at the ministry, as he's confident she'll do well. Minister Hastings will be joining a list of ministers who were reassigned from their posts over the past 2 years. I'm Esther Sobers reporting for Channel 2 Headline News.
Thanks, Esther. Don't go. Ride around town and beyond? Look no further than Oasis Ride Taxi Service with affordable prices in some of the
Hotel. August 23rd is Customer Appreciation Day at GGMC Headquarters, Brickdam, Georgetown. Activities end with Pork Knockers Day at Bayrock Ground, Wismar on August 26th. It's Mining Week 2017, August 20th to 26th under the theme Mining Clean, Living Green.
John Lewis Styles proudly introduces Everest Bags, a complete and affordable line especially suited for back to school. Lunch bags from $3,500, backpacks from $4,500, pulley backpacks from $10,995. Also available are messenger bags, computer bags, waist pouches, duffel bags, gym bags, and even camping bags, all for the same price or less than buying online. And it's already here on Waterloo Street. John Lewis Styles, simply different.
In news from the region now, in St. Lucia, in the wake of the crisis in Venezuela, Prime Minister Alan Chastanet revealed that he has asked the Immigration Department to enforce restrictions on Venezuelans entering St. Lucia. Chastanet continues to express concerns about the island's security. He believes that St. Lucia should make it difficult for Venezuelans to visit the country. HTS News Force has more.
Prime Minister Alan Chastanet announced that he has requested that the Immigration Department consider imposing visa restrictions on Venezuelan nationals. He was speaking in light of the recent political upheaval in Venezuela, which has resulted in the loss of life in the South American country. Over the last 4 months, tension has been rising in Venezuela, with the opposition and government accusing each other of staging a coup. Chastanet asserted that he remains deeply concerned about the security threat to the Caribbean.
I have asked the Ministry of Immigration to look at imposing a visa restriction on Venezuelans coming to St. Lucia. I don't think we should make it any easier than the logistics already have for Venezuelans to come here. And I remain deeply concerned about the security threat to St. Lucia and to the region.
Last week, President Donald Trump stated that he was not ruling out a military option to deal with the crisis. However, Chastanet reiterated that St. Lucia would not support any foreign intervention in Venezuela.
We believe that this has to be a homegrown situation, and St. Lucia's position clearly is that we all should get together and put pressure on Venezuela, both the opposition and the government, to resolve their matters.
The Prime Minister believes that Venezuela should accept the principles of the rule of law.
By arresting members of the opposition, by suspending its duly elected assembly. So where do we go from here? And the fact is that CARICOM is attempting to play an arbitrary role to be able to help facilitate discussions and negotiations. But there are some who believe that Venezuela needs to accept those basic principles first. The opposition is equally wrong in some of the things that it's doing, because it's also not adhering to the rule of law and to democracy, and you can say human rights.
Prime Minister Chasney argues that the hemisphere and the region have failed to put guidelines in place to address the Venezuelan crisis. Joachim Duplessis, HTS News Force.
And internationally, yesterday was the 70th anniversary of the British partition of India and Pakistan. This division, forged by the blood of many innocent victims, caused a severe distrust between the two nations, one that lasts to this day. BBC shares with us one of the many stories of loss and forced migration.
When we were told to start walking, at that time we didn't realize we were going to India. Literally, one day we were quite happy, and in the evening we were made to just leave the house and walk. Quite early in the morning, and we were told just to start walking. So we started walking behind our cart. The caravan, it became bigger and bigger as we walked along, because other villages also joined us during that caravan, and in the end it was miles long. I remember the army men telling us, be close together, it's very dangerous, it is firing going on, people are killing other people, so be very, very vigilant. We were so hungry, eating leaves of whatever crop they could lay their hands on, and also drinking water from the puddles on the ground, because there was no other source of water. It was great tragedy, and we didn't like that being friends one day and enemies next. You can't even imagine. We left everything, and we got friends and relations got killed, and it happened both sides of the border. Although we got independence, they say, oh, we are independent now, but what good it was when you have lost everything.
And now for the weather report.